I want to tell you a story about Andy and Felicia. Andy was a bus driver who shuttles Nnewi to Lagos. At 24, he has started making a lot of money because it's not easy to know how to drive this far. So he has started making a lot of money. Felicia was a girl of 17, very beautiful. Like everyone wants to hold her. And she started misbehaving, having, different guys. Then she met Andy. Andy was ready to spend on her. Other guys were smaller ones that, as a small girl. So Andy started spending more on her and she left every other girl. At 17, Andy impregnated her. Wow, what a shame to her. Well, she has her mother's house, but she did not go to her mother's house. She rather went to her grandmother's house, which is very far away from her community, where she can hide. She just finished secondary school. At her grandmother's house, she got a baby. Then she became 18. And then she was asked to come back because they were asked Andy to marry her. Whether he likes it or not, that he's going to marry her. Andy agreed. He thinks he's 25, he's not ready for marriage. But he agreed since he's already making money. He agreed to marry Felicia. They brought the child and they named the child Colette. Colettee. Then Colette started growing up. They planned that they will not have other children until Colette grows up so that they can be able to understand what they are doing before they have another children. Suddenly, they had another child after 5 years, a son, a boy. Wow, they had the boy. They were happy. After another 5 years, because they are not in a haste, they had another baby girl. And just while the father was away in his shuttling business, traveling, he was coming back from Lagos to this Nnewi to see his new baby girl. He had a fatal accident that broke his spine. So he was resigned to wheelchair. Because of the wheelchair, now he can't drive again. He can't even, maybe it's an impossibility for him to even have children. So he was resigned. That's when Felicia started working. She started selling foodstuff. Anything that moves market, she started selling it around their house where they live. As she was selling, they were not making too much money. But we move now. So while Felicia was doing all this business, things had become difficult. Call it has already become 12 years. And one of the mother's relatives, cousin like that, asked to take Colette with him to Port Harcourt. He was not staying in Port Harcourt actually, but he has businesses and his family were in Port Harcourt. He shuttles China and Nigeria, but mostly in China because he sends goods from there. He has been there for a long time, so he has known the place. Being in Port Harcourt, his wife, since he's not around, his wife was not very friendly or very nice to Colette. She maltreats Colette. Her last child was 13, while Colette was 12. But Colette washes her clothes, cooks, sweep, does almost all the job except cooking for them. At the time when she was 15, this guy Davion, the cousin of the wife, the cousin of this woman that she was living with, came into the house to live with them when he got admission into Uniport to study. Suddenly, he was in school. Colette's auntie, her two sons, elder sons, were in school, and a girl. They were all in school. Suddenly, they graduated from Uniport, and then it was time for them to travel abroad because their father was rich. They were taken abroad to study, to go and learn, to go and do their masters. Davion, the cousin of the woman, was like, I graduated here with them with good grades. So how come they send them to UK, to abroad to study, do their masters? I also want to do my masters and I also want to travel abroad. Does it mean that my sister can't send me there? Okay, they actually gave him a job in the company, in the husband's company. So he decided to work there. While he was working there, 2 years into working there, he embezzled a lot of millions from the company. He embezzled and God knows where he went. Nobody knows. Though he left, they seized his land, his plot of land. As an Igbo man, you go get plot of land now. They seized about so many of his plot of land from his family just to compensate. They didn't sell them, but they just said they will seize it. He was nowhere to be found. This wife, instead of looking for his cousin, decided to put the blame on Collet. Collet was blamed for knowing. They said she knows the whereabouts of Davion. They sent her to police, but she was still young, so they decided to set her free. On coming back to the woman's house, the woman sent her packing, not giving her any money. She does not know what to do, and she does not want to return to the village because there's nothing there for her to do. So she decided to go and hide inside a Pentecostal church. While at the Pentecostal church, they noticed her. People there noticed that she had started working, normally sweeping. They gave her a room and gave her a job and kept her on monthly salary. While she was working there, one of the workers in church penetrated her and disvirgined her. Oh no, she cried and cried, and the guy promised her not to tell anybody, promised to give her heaven on earth. Then the next day, he came back and continued penetrating her until she got used to it and started having fun from it. But something happened one day. They were caught in the act, and she was sent packing out of the church. The guy was stripped out of his work as a worker in the church. What did this guy do? This guy took her to his girlfriend's house, but he lied to her that the girl was his ex, that they don't have anything against. It's just that they are close friends. So she started staying with the girl. Why this guy always invite her secretly to his house to see him? Well, as time goes on, she found a job around an eatery, a very big eatery. She went there to ask to be a cleaner or something, a messenger. But she got the job of a waitress because she was very beautiful. They want her to do the job of a waitress. She started working. No, by this time she's already 18. She started working there. While she was working at the restaurant, many eyes. One of their rules was do not sleep with a client. She never slept with anyone. Instead, she had interest for school because Rosita, the girlfriend of the guy that disvirgined her, was also having interest in school, and both of them decide to ride jump and go for lessons. While she's working and earning, she started having money to do so many things. This is where the story will stop. We'll continue in the next episode tomorrow.